Hi, I'm Steven Racek, one of the owners and coaches here at Forge Fitness. A lot of people ask, what do we do here? Well, we focus on your longevity, meaning we focus on your health and the quality of your life as you age. So by the time you get to the end of your life, we want you to be able to do things that you want to do and enjoy. We take a lot of pride in the community that we've built, knowing that our members come for a great workout, but they stick around because of the community and friendships that they have. If interested in joining us at Forge, we offer a 7-day free trial. And you can find us at www.forgefitness.co, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram.
Hey everybody, it is the Buffalo Community Podcast. We're here, a solo episode here. And you know what? Again, just trying to knock off the rust a little bit. We're going to be talking about the NFC champions, the Minnesota Vikings.
You just ruined it.
Yeah, I ruined it last time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's all right.
Find some wood to knock on.
Yeah, so as of December 13th, 2024, the Vikings are sitting at a record of 11-2.
Yeah.
With losses to the LA
Rams
and the Detroit Lions.
I got the Music City Kitties. So Motor City Kitties, not Music City.
These Vikings years come along once every 5 to 10 years, where kind of the stars align, wins are coming, they're piling up, and they lure you in and they lure you in until you finally place your heart right into their hands. After swearing you would never do that again.
and then
at some point, they completely slam it on the ground and stomp on it.
As
and you say, I'm never going to allow this again.
Yeah.
And then, years of mediocrity to, early playoff exits. You're fine. And then they do this.
Yeah.
11-2.
So I will say, even our bad years, you're not the 0-16 Lions. We're usually not the worst.
Rarely.
But we're pretty rarely or never the best. Mm-hmm. And so this year is pretty special. We're not even necessarily the best in our division, but we're one of the best teams in the NFC right now.
Right.
You know what really sucks is the fact that the NFC North is completely stacked with the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers.
And then you also have the Bears, but
right.
No one cares about that.
Wait, they're still a part of it? Oh. You guys getting paid? No. I 100% agree, and I'm trying to teach that life lesson to my boys. They're like, oh, we're the best. It's everything. They're going to go. They're invincible. And I, hold on, boys. Just chill.
They've lost twice.
I said, we're gonna just scale that back a little bit. Mm-hmm. I said the heartbreak is coming. The heartbreak is coming. But they're completely naive to the fact that they weren't born in 98 or 2009 or
17
or 20.
20.
Was it 20?
20 was a bad year.
21.
Minneapolis Miracle was.
That was 2017.
17. Yeah, but then
that was that long ago already.
Then we went when we kicked the Bills' butts. That was
2022.
22.
Yeah, when we were 11-0 in one-score games.
When we kicked their butts.
Yeah,
we barely won.
We embarrassed those guys
when Josh Allen fumbled in the end zone.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson made one of the greatest catches of all time on a 4th and 17.
We still won.
Yeah, we kicked their butts.
Yeah, everybody would say the Bills are better than the Vikings historically.
Yeah,
matched up in Super Bowls.
They're pretty similar historically, as far as pretty good teams overall. I think I saw a stat multiple times this year that the Vikings are the best team that's never won a Super Bowl, basically. We're up there in the top 5 as far as winning percentage across the entire organization as long as it's existed.
Yeah.
We just don't have any Super Bowls.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's very few franchises that win at the same rate that the Vikings do.
Right. It's one of the highest.
So we'll hang a banner for that, apparently.
Let's do it. It just says NFL participation.
Yeah. I can't tell if that's an awesome stat that I love or a stat that I hate so much because we're the best team that's never won a Super Bowl.
You know what feels different for me this year, though, is I don't feel nervous right now when Sam Darnold gets in trouble. I'm not like, I'm not pulling a Tony Romo of I don't know, Jim. it's like, oh, okay, this is great. Unlike Kirk Cousins, it was just like
A little more statuesque.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and we just killed the Falcons.
Yeah.
Even when we were tied, I was like, we feel like so in control of this game.
I did not feel that way about it.
I just feel I feel different.
Yeah.
I think this team is built different. And
Just
I think
like you.
KOC, one of the greatest coaches.
Coach of the year.
that I've seen.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think he's coach of the year.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
when you take the tools and you take the things that we've lost, Darisaw out, and we're still performing at a high level, and getting Sam Darnold to perform, at a high level.
Yep.
I think that's great coaching. I think staying in the games to put us in an opportunity to win is also there. I mean, we were there for when did we get that blatant face mask call on the safety? Was that the
Rams.
Rams?
Rams.
Rams. Well, that was our game-winning drive right there. Ended on a penalty.
Could have been.
Yeah.
That game was we had
That
not
was
played
ugly.
well in that game at
No.
all.
We didn't, but we were in the opportunity to win. And
there
I
was
would
a
say-
chance.
Yeah, I mean, we were behind, but there was a chance that really got stolen
Yeah.
by the referees. And actually, across the NFL, referees have not had a great year. Like there's a lot more topics about this and not
Well, unless you're
the
Patrick
Chiefs.
Mahomes, in which case they've been fantastic.
Yeah, right. But there's missed calls all the time. I mean, false starts or missed false starts, and it's usually in pivotal points. But I'm not going to put that blame. But we've been in every single game with an opportunity to win, and that's what you need. And when you look at the NFL, I think everybody's beatable on any given day.
The amount of games that are one-score games in the NFL is absurd. It's mind-boggling, the parity.
Yeah,
Like even bad teams tend to lose by one score.
Yeah.
Like it just
yeah.
blowouts don't happen, and you got to figure out a way to win close games. And so far this year, the Vikings have done exactly that.
Yep.
And now the conversation is turning to, we kind of had a plan and a blueprint for we'll bring in Sam. He'll, maybe start this year, maybe he won't. And then JJ will take over. And then the only thing that could blow this plan up is if somehow Sam does stuff he's never done before. And now, the appeal to JJ McCarthy is that rookie contract where they play for peanuts and you can invest in, your O&D line and other positions. That gets more difficult, but Sam Darnold's going to make minimum of $30 million next year, and he's
At
at
least, yeah.
10 this year. And they talk about franchise tagging him, and
If you franchise taking him, you're probably paying him 40.
Yeah.
So that's a tough conversation to have, but it is a way to guarantee that you'll get him another year. And depending on, I don't know. The hard part is, as fans, we haven't seen JJ McCarthy outside of the one preseason game that he was in that he
Right.
did well in. So we don't see him in practice, every day before he got injured, So it's just so hard to be like, yep, send Sam Darnold on after the best year of his life,
Right.
and then we'll just take our chances with JJ McCarthy because
It's a gamble.
It is a gamble.
Yeah. I personally think because these teams come along once, sometimes in a career. And if you can keep that core people, and if they've got the mojo to play together, I'll take the Minneapolis Miracle. Case Keenum killed it that year. Mm-hmm. And if you can keep that personnel together, there's a different, if you're on the same page, like just Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, they always find each other. Like if you can keep that team together, I'm like all in of like, gosh, pay him, even if it's a guaranteed 1 year.
Yeah.
Let's get JJ
a full year of
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
football under his belt. And
Right.
Right. And I'm just like, oh man, I just think it's like if we don't win it this year and you move on, why don't you try and give yourself an opportunity to keep the magic going? Mm-hmm. That's my own personal thought is like try and keep the magic alive.
that's the safe bet.
Yeah. I always
The safest thing to do is sign Sam Darnold, and because like if I was another team looking at Sam Darnold, trying to figure out like, hey, like, are we gonna get the Sam Darnold under Kevin O'Connell, or is he gonna turn into a pumpkin again because he doesn't have the quarterback whisperer, right? Like that would be
Yeah.
a genuine concern of mine to say, he did it once. I mean, 17 times, but he's done it as far as seasons go.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like, I wouldn't open the checkbook for him if I was any other team and say, you're going to do that exact same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen people pay people for less. I mean, Matt Flynn, the backup quarterback for the Packers, got a big contract with Seattle.
You're going back a ways there.
Yeah, he played like 3 games, and he did really well in those 3 games. But they're like, hey, that's our guy. You know, like I think one really good year is enough to give him a shot, and a shot is no less than $30 million.
And teams will do some weird stuff when you're desperate for a quarterback. Tend to put your blinders on, see what you want to see, and feel like you've saw. I mean, look at, Christian Ponder, I think, is largely agreed. We were so desperate for a quarterback that we probably took a second or a third round quarterback in the first round. So you do tend to put your purple glasses on sometimes, or whatever color your team wears. So it'll be interesting. And then Dan Jones, dude's talented.
I don't like him.
And
only because of last year.
Seeing what he's done with Darnold, like if O'Connell's truly that good, Daniel Jones might even be more physically gifted than Sam Darnold. I mean, he's more athletic, and
I don't know that he is.
I think Daniel Jones is.
I was not impressed with most of his career in New York. It just was not that impressive to me.
That's why he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Were you impressed with Sam Darnold?
No, I wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
What people did say about Sam Darnold is that he had all the athletic and like the physical abilities. Is that he was seeing ghosts and like you couldn't get the systems down in the places he was in, and he was set up for failure in New York at the Jets because they have a terrible system for anyone.
And I think I would say the exact same thing about Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
first round draft pick, talented, fast, strong arm, miserable situation, flashes of greatness. But it's intriguing. Like what if Kevin O'Connell is that good?
Yeah.
Where he can just take these first round guys that aren't working out,
sell him to the Jets.
And then all we're doing is just bringing in quarterbacks for paying them nothing. He's building them up.
Yeah.
And then you just take the next one. And
that'd be the ultimate Minnesota farm team right there.
Oh, that'd be unbelievable.
So it is a contract year for KOC and for Kwesi. Both of them at the So it'd be interesting to see what ends up happening. I really hope we can keep those guys around as far as KOC, Kwesi, and then Flores.
Kwesi kind of sucks at drafting though. I mean, you look at his stats.
Fantastic drafts, but his
nobody's playing.
Have been incredible.
His
free agents have been amazing.
Yeah,
letting Daniil Hunter go was brilliant.
Right.
And you bring in the guy who's now on our team,
Greenard and
Grenard has been better than Daniil Hunter.
Yeah,
and probably a fraction of I think Grenard's making a healthy amount of money, even in NFL standards. But I don't think he's making Daniil Hunter money.
Right, and we'll have to pay him next year.
What happens if we win the Super Bowl then? I mean, if we win the Super Bowl this year. Does your attitude about getting rid of Darnold change?
If we win the Super Bowl this year, nothing matters ever after that.
You're dang right. You heard it here.
Probably, you definitely get 3 years of my biggest fear is that at this point in my life, I won't appreciate it nearly as much as I would have in my, because it's just a 1-year championship amongst 30-some NFL teams, and then you play again next. I wish they would have done it when I was a little more fanatic about the Vikings.
I'm not saying dynasty-wise, but you look at what Patrick Mahomes have done in Kansas City. If you win this, how do you get rid of that? You've got a great receiver core and some other good tools to keep that stuff together, and an excellent coach in Andy Reid, because he's been successful everywhere. I say I say you're all in, and you have to keep him if we win the Super Bowl.
Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would leave. You would have no choice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think,
you would have no choice.
If you win the Super Bowl, I think there's no other choice you would want. Like, you want that guy.
And then it's
he
like,
can take you all the
dang
way.
it, it's just like Nick Foles. Stupid.
Yeah. But you won the Super Bowl, so, you probably ride that for 2-3 seasons before. But you also, Jordan Addison will not be here very much longer. You can only pay, look at all the teams that have really invested heavily in quarterback position. Who do the Chiefs have for wide receivers? Who did I guess Packers had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. But a lot of times when you pay your quarterback, you are really relying on them being a great quarterback, making wide receivers better than they. Because having Jefferson, Addison, and Darnold all making what they're worth is not.
No.
Unless you just get rid of your offensive line.
You'd have to sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah.
I contend that Addison wouldn't be as good as he is now without Jefferson.
Yeah.
His season stats are way padded because
he's getting really great looks.
Because 2.5 people are always on Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what he looks like as a number one. I don't know. I think we saw it for a couple weeks last year when he was hurt, when Jefferson was hurt.
Yeah. And I think he performed.
Yeah, I think he did
He had a great year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's a dude. I mean, I really do. But I guess the only other option is that you let Jefferson walk.
Which I don't think will happen.
And pay. No. I don't think so either. But it might be the smart thing to do.
It might be, but he's kind of the identity of this team.
Exactly.
So I would have a hard time imagining anyone would let him
And
walk.
if I was the GM of a team, the wide receiver spot is not where I would invest large amounts of money. But I'm not, and they didn't ask me what I think. But wide receivers don't win Super Bowls.
We thought that that meeting with Spielman that one time, we thought we really had an in.
Yeah.
But he didn't appreciate our jokes.
Right.
What about the the 90s 49ers with Jerry Rice? Would you consider that a wide receiver, a premier wide receiver winning Super Bowls?
Quarterback.
His quarterback. Yeah, Joe Montana, and then you had Steve Young.
Yeah. Wide receivers just don't bring you to a Super Bowl. Randy Moss never did. Well, once with the Patriots.
That's tough news with him, too.
They're nice to have. They sell tickets.
And
they're
jerseys.
flashy. They're fun. But I think what wins football games is the stuff that nobody talks about.
It's offensive line.
It's offensive, defensive line.
Yeah.
And in to out, right?
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of it ends up
and quarterback.
If you're putting weight on a position, it would be head coach and quarterback, and I think that was the kind of combination that New England had with Brady and with Belichick, and then right now what Kansas City has with Mahomes and with Andy Reid. I think that's probably the two most important pieces on the field for a dynasty like that.
Yeah.
But because like you said, Brady never, he had Randy Moss for a handful of years, but he never had just dominant receivers.
Never.
He had, some really good pieces at times.
The year he did, they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Granted, they didn't lose in the regular season. They lost one game that year. But they picked the wrong
last
game,
one.
But
He always had staple guys, Edelman and Gronk, guys that he could rely on and go to when he needed to, but he never had, outside of Moss, he really didn't have anyone that was going to go up and get it or beat anyone on a route necessarily.
I'll just put it where it needs to be put.
Yeah. And so it was a lot more scheme and it was a lot more consistency probably.
Yeah. I think it's hard to find guys like Tom Brady, because Tom Brady never, I shouldn't say never because I don't even, I'm just telling you what I heard here.
That's what I heard.
I don't have stats, but I mean, isn't Tom Brady pretty well known too for like winning was the most important thing. It wasn't maximizing his contracts. It wasn't he signed multiple contracts for less than his market value to ensure that
he wasn't even the breadwinner in his own family though. So
he didn't need the money.
Right. I mean, his wife.
None of them need
no
the
one
money.
needs the money.
But his wife was worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
So it's
not
not
about
exactly
the money. It's about what the money represents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what, I don't know, it's so interesting. You thought Kirk might be one of those guys when he was here. It's like, you thought he might be, just not that he should take less than he was worth,
Right.
but you thought, he's such a nice guy, such a team player. You might be like, I'll take slightly, right at market rate or slightly under. No,
Right.
Because these people like me.
He's
Yeah.
He's one of the
he's a great businessman.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like when he retires, you could replay his career 10 times.
And
Like he's maximized every contract and earned as far as all the dollars you could have possibly earned in your career.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten every single one, and I'm pumped for him. Like I think that's great.
He plays
I still
so
like him.
well to make the most amount of money. Like
Yep.
he doesn't play so well to win the most amount of games or to win the games that matter. He plays so well to get the right contracts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's intentional, obviously.
No,
but it seems like that's just how it works out.
Every time he goes to the bank to cash his game check, he writes in the memo, "You like that?"
Yeah.
I do like Kirk. Kirk's a good dude.
I love Kirk Cousins. He's not perfect.
No.
But I would have loved to have seen last year play out because he was doing everything Darnold's doing this year minus the elusiveness, and he was absolutely on fire. And it just would have been. I wanted him to like have that breakthrough. Like he could never win in prime time. Well, he's pretty much squashed that, and he's now. That's an old tired argument. Like, and I just wanted it to, okay, let's go win in the playoffs. Let's go win a Super Bowl. And because his stats are such that if he does win a Super Bowl, like it sounds crazy, but like if you just took the name away and looked at stats,
Hall of Fame.
looked at stats, take the name away and look at stats compared to other guys, he's right there.
Yeah.
I don't think he would get in, but
yeah. Well,
he's right there as far as touch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's put up
if he did win a
numbers.
Super Bowl and more playoff games, I think that's always been the argument against Kirk is one playoff win in a decade, basically.
Yeah.
So that's like what people always come up with Kirk is he's stat patter. He doesn't win big games.
Yeah.
And not that he doesn't live in prime time necessarily anymore,
Right.
But he doesn't win big games,
Right.
games that mean something.
Right.
Now I would say like that's still kind of the piece against Kirk. Kirk.
Yeah.
Kurt Cousins
Calls himself a fan.
Yeah.
But it's different between Darnold and Kirk, and what I would say is different. What I would say is different between even Case Keenum, like similarities between Case Keenum and Sam Darnold, is that they just chuck the ball downfield.
Yeah.
They do not care about stats. They'll throw a pick if there's a shot at a downfield pass.
Yeah.
That was what I loved about Case Keenum is he just threw. He saw it. He was 14. Goodness.
Diggs
downfield, and he would just chuck the ball. Didn't really matter. And I think that's one thing Sam Darnold does well is he throws the ball downfield really well.
Yeah. It helps when you have no receiver or no cornerbacks within 15 yards too.
Diving out of the way.
The one where when he scored his 2 touchdowns, like when again
Justin
he's completely open, Justin Jefferson. Even Addison's wide open. It's like, but how many times we don't get to see the entire field? How many times are our guys actually open, but they're getting gobbled up, or checking down just because they didn't see it, But we're seeing it more this year than ever. So I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well,
we should add a skull chant to that roadcaster.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh.
yeah.
Nobody knows why we just add it in the middle of something. But
Yeah.
anyway,
We'll see what the season brings.
Yeah, let's go Vikings. I'm so excited.
Protect your hearts. It's not going to end well.
For the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reiss.
I'm Mark Benzer.
Luke Edlund.
Thanks for listening to the Buffalo Community Podcast, produced by Edlund Media. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts.